Hey, hi, ho, he, ha. Good evening from London, England. Or should I say, good morning from London, England, good afternoon, or good night and rest well from London, England, from your host, your guy himself. The one and only and truly DLG repping. And I'm going to be taking you through Mikel Arteta's press conference ahead of the game against Newcastle United tomorrow lunchtime. Um, what can I say? Um, he was asked questions by a number of reporters. Gary Cottrell, Ian Abraham, known as the Moose on Talk Sport, and a female asked him questions on a couple of interesting stats. But I'll start off with Gary Cottrell here, and he's asked questions on any injuries. And Mikel Arteta's obviously said that there's no injuries from the squad. And when asked about Granit Xhaka, he said that he hopes to have him back as soon as possible during the festive period. Now, in my opinion, I don't think we've missed Xhaka because he hasn't been part of the 10-game unbeaten run up until we met Liverpool. And let's be real, he was partly, and I mean hugely and partly, the cause of us getting beaten 5-0 by Man City. Now, if we had 11 men, I'm not to say that we would not have lost to Man City. We were losing to Man City anyway. We were getting a violation. But we needed 11 players if we were going to have any hope of lessening the score. And this guy has made constant mistake after constant mistakes. And for me, he did deserve the boos when I was at the Emirates when we drew 2-2 with Crystal Palace a couple of seasons ago. But what he didn't deserve was his wife being called all sorts of names and all sorts of abuse thrown at her. And then their daughter being told, or their daughter being abused, and someone shouting out from the terraces, "I hope your daughter has cancer or dies of cancer." That's sickening, and that really is despicable. It's unacceptable. But that was then. This is now, and he's back in contention. I believe he's training. Arteta wants him back available, and well, we all know Mikel Arteta is in love with that man. He's possibly got nude photos hung up his bedroom wall. His wife doesn't mind, does he? Anyway, let's move on. He says Gary Cottrell says to Gary Cottrell some of his players show leadership skills within the changing room, and basically he spoke about how a couple of players stood up and, vented their frustrations. But Mikel Arteta wouldn't go into any details at all because, what he said in the press conference was what goes on in the dressing room stays in the dressing room, and rightfully so. I don't want our privacy exposed out in public, because once that gets out, it is horrible. And it's going to be bad enough, doing this all or nothing on Prime Amazon. Personally, I'm against it. It is to do within what goes on in the change room, and I am so against it. It's gonna feel embarrassing, completely embarrassing. Why would we contemplate on doing this documentary? Anyway, enough of that. He also says, Mikel Arteta, you can see how the top teams compete and how consistent they are. He's referring to Liverpool and what they've done over the years that Klopp has come in. And Klopp came in as an experienced manager with experienced quality players. So over the 5-6 years, he's built that squad into Champions League and Premier League contenders, where Mikel, yeah, he took over the reign and he's embedded more young players. But to his credit, the players that we've bought, they're young and quality, but again, they may or may not reach the levels of Liverpool or Man City within the next 3, 4, 5 years. Let's get that realness out of there. Also, he said that. Also, what he has said is that you have to be spontaneous. Basically, he's basically referring to the incident where him and Klopp came close to squaring up against each other, and he said that he will defend his club and defend the players. And I'll tell you something, seeing that with my own naked eyes, I'll tell you what, that just shows that he's got that complete passion. That's something that I want to see. That anger, that's a lot of aggression, passion, and that's a man who's prepared to stand up for the Arsenal and for his employees, the Arsenal, when he feels that the motives have forced him to do that. And he said that motives would only take him there if he had to go there. And you know what? Give him credit. I don't mind him doing that, as long as we don't get a backlash away from home in a big, big game. Oh, and it gets the home fans up for it. And we, as the away team and the away support, have to suffer a beatdown like we did at Liverpool. Anyway, enough being said. He talks about the players having to be ready for the festive period. And for me, he was asked questions on rotation and how the games are going to come thick and fast. And he's responded very wisely to the question. And basically he's saying he wants his players all prepared, and he wants to make sure that, he says that he wants to make sure they're all prepared and up for the task. And he spoke on the injuries and suspension. He said that there are players that are close to suspension. Also, he was asked by a lady about Eddie Howe, and his first game as Arsenal manager was against Bournemouth, and Eddie Howe was the manager. And by coincidence, Eddie Howe's first game is against Arsenal, and it's against the manager that made his debut against his Bournemouth team as Arsenal manager. So, it's coincidence. It's coincidence, isn't it? Wow. But nevertheless, he gave an open, honest interview and in his press conference, and he speaks well. He answers the questions directly, and he doesn't really shy away from any questions, and give him credit where credit is due, to say the least. Other than that, I'm going to end it here and say thank you once again to the ladies, to the gentlemen, to the boys, to the girls for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And as I always say, saving the best to last. Thank you for putting up with me again. I will be back tomorrow, and I look forward to doing some filming outside the Emirates. I think it's always a pleasure to film on a match day just right outside the Emirates. Until then, take care of your friends, take care of your families, take care of yourselves, stay safe. Peace again, love again, and bless again, as I always say. Until next time, DLG repping, we talk again. Just please be nice.